Welcome to the 10-year, $10 million, 10,000 chickens challenge. Can we do it? Let's explain the rules. So you can see we are here in Iowa Plains on the Iowa Plains view map, and we are at the Case IH dealership. We have no money, so what's the value of us being here? Well, we're gonna go over a few mods that I have created that should be out to you guys soon once we get through some testing, and I'm gonna try to get them on itch for you guys if you're interested in using them. So let's take a look at them. The line of credit mod that I have written here will allow us to pull out a line of credit up to $10 million right now. That is in sandbox mode. I'm also working on a default mode that is based on the value that you have in your account, just like the extended loan system is. So what we're gonna do for this challenge is we're gonna allow ourselves to take out a $5 million line of credit. So the line of credit is now out, but we haven't used any of it. Our current balance, you can see, is at 0. We have 120 months to use this line of credit. At the end of the 120 months, it has to be closed. So we're not gonna actually hit that because of the way things work. So at the end of this series, this loan has to be paid off and closed. There's also the net worth tracker. So here we have a little bug, so we're gonna ignore this 6709, but our net worth is 0 right now. Now, if I come here and I draw some money, let's say we need $25,000, we can see $25,000 is withdrawn. We now have $4,975,000 in our line of credit available to us. And over here, we can see our balance now shows $25,000. Now, the net worth mod also did update, so we can see cash value of $25,000. And the loan, for some reason, is not being deducted. I think that's gonna take a little bit longer to actually show up in here. There we go, it is now updated. So a little bit of timing issues with this mod that I will be fixing. So we have $25,000 in cash, but because we have that loan taken out of $25,000, it kind of balances itself out there. So right now, let's go ahead and make a payment of the full amount of $25,000 because we don't know how much we want to use yet. And I wanted to use a line of credit because I don't know exactly what I want to spend on day one, but I want to give myself that limit of $5 million to start with. So why does it seem to make it easy? I don't think it's going to. So we're going to head around town and we're going to find some land that we want to purchase. And we are going to count August through December as year one. That's why the 120 months won't completely work when we get to 10 years. I might make some changes to the mod to make that represent it that way with 10 years. I was trying to start in January, but I'm not sure the UI would help. We would show year 11 at the end of year 10, so I didn't want to do it that way. So that's why we're starting in August, so that everything in the UI looks correct throughout the whole time. Man, this map's looking awesome. This is my first look at it as well. So what we need to do is talk about the rest of the rules. We're gonna head this way because I think there's a plot of land we're gonna buy over here. But so we did say 10,000 chickens. The theme is chickens. We can only make money from selling products that come from chicken. So base game, we can sell eggs. We could also add in a slaughterhouse if we can find one that we like and sell the chickens for meat. We'll see if we go down that route, but that's the main purpose of this. So the only other gotcha is if a product contains eggs, we can make it and sell it. If it is needed, if it's a product that's needed to feed or take care of the chickens, we can sell it. So wheat, barley, and not oats, but sorghum could then be turned into a product we could make money off of. And the reason why I want to do it that way is just to limit what we're focused on this playthrough. Similar to the maze challenge that we did in FS25, we're going to be completely focused on everything chickens. And the reason I made these mods is I kind of want this to be repeatable with the same setup and the same starting function here of getting a good head start, getting a decent amount of land because the challenge is huge. I don't think we're making it too easy on ourselves. We're going to find out. We're going to use this one as a baseline for that amount of line of credit that we can take out, as well as the net worth. So $10 million net worth is what we're going to be looking at the end of the game here. You can see the loans still not completely working correctly there. So that's why I'm not releasing these mods yet, trying to work on a few bugs there. It looks like when I save the game, that does get fixed right now. So I'll get that sorted out. But here we go. Farmland 20 has 73.65 acres, which can potentially yield us 364,000 liters of wheat. So that's a good amount of feed for chickens. We'll do some calculations later on to see what we're gonna need for a year of 10,000 chickens. So the other winning condition, and we'll get a cool little graphic for you guys on all the winning conditions of this, but 10,000 chickens need to be on our property and owned by us. They need to be fully fed for 12 straight months before that part of the challenge is complete. So we'll have 10,000 chickens fed for 12 months. We'll also have $10 million net worth, our loan paid off, and that's about it. So a lot to do. We are gonna hop in here and take out enough money to purchase field 20. So we're gonna take out $1 million right now. Let's go ahead and head on over here. We'll draw funds. That is $1 million. And this interest rate does fluctuate a little bit. So each month it could change and our monthly payment could change due to that. And the reason I'm using the line of credit instead of the in-game finances is because this does an interest only. I want the line of credit to actually go towards interest and principal every month and require us to do that. So where this payment is calculated to pay this off in the months remaining on the loan. So as we get later into the series, when those months decrease, if we do take out more money, the payment's gonna be even bigger. So kind of the idea there. So let's see, we do have enough money now. Let's go ahead and buy field 20 here, and that is ours. So we have another $120,000 with that first $1 million we took out. Corn, we can't harvest corn, but this to me, we're gonna hop in the sky. Looks like an absolute great spot for our farmyard. So this entire field here, I think, could eventually be just a huge plot of our property. Yeah, let's do it. So let's see the value here. 260,000. We're gonna take out another 160. Let's just do round numbers here to keep it clear for us, and we can pay off whatever we can later on. So we do have $280,000. Let's go ahead and get this purchased. And I think instantly we're gonna jump into this mode because we're gonna do some building here. A little different and unique start of a series for me, and I think we're gonna really like it. And to painting, I do wanna just go with a dirt here. We'll just go with this right here. Let's go ahead and find our little button here, widen it up. And I don't have the mod to lock in the straight line, so we are gonna completely get rid of this field though. I mean, maybe we'll keep some of it, but we're definitely gonna let it just kind of go away. So I'm gonna get this done and I'll rejoin you. All right, so that looks, doesn't look great, but we'll be making it look better. So we have our little entrance on the road here. So let's go ahead and find some gravel now. And this is definitely something that a liberty that I take. You can see it's not costing us any money, and that's really the way that I want it to work. So I need to get terraforming anywhere installed so I can finish this entrance. So we'll get that fixed eventually. But I do want to kind of have it kind of loop into the property here, and we might line this. I just don't see a good dirt. Maybe this is, yeah, this is pretty good here. Dirt, gravel, let's take a, oh yeah, I like that much better. So I think what I'm gonna do is get a decent layout going and then rejoin you as we start placing down buildings. All right, what I wanna do is kind of reserve an area. Yeah, I think I wanna do it on this side. And we're gonna come like this. And all of this is gonna be reserved for our residency. So where we put our house and maybe a little playground and area for our family. It is one of my series, so we're definitely gonna be doing some things that aren't necessarily towards the winning conditions, but I absolutely want in the farm build. So that's where we're gonna reserve that, and we probably will bring this through eventually and have like an entrance here. And maybe line this long path with some trees. And I'm gonna come up with a better solution, but I'm just kind of getting the layout here. Probably turn this into more, have a little bit of grass overgrowing on it, and then this will have some grass in it as well. But all right, there we go there. And we're gonna go into our line of credit now, and I'm gonna pull out about 1.5 million right now. So right now our balance is at 1.519. So I want to start placing down some buildings. So one of the things we want to think about is chickens. So we don't necessarily need to buy chickens yet, but let's go ahead and grab our facility that we're going to need for it. And the mod we're going to use, let's see, can we customize this? I don't like the look of it, But we have this one here that holds 2,500 and this one holds 5,000. So the thought is that if we can get 5,000 chickens and get 2 of these facilities completely full, that's a route we could go. Or we could go with maybe like 2 of these and 1 of these type of a thing. Or we could start even smaller, which, you know, isn't really small, with 1,250. So financially, it would make a lot of sense to go with the bigger one. I just don't want us to scale too fast. And the chicken condition might end up being one of the early games things that we actually win. So let's see. Let's go ahead. I think we will. We got the money, right? Let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to go with the, well, it would be cheaper to go with 2 of these. So if we respected the land here and went 1 here and 1 here, but then we could bring it out a little bit to add room. So what I want to do is place that down, instantly sell it. And that we lost, you know, 200 some bucks in terraforming, which is completely fine, but that gives us that footprint there. So now we know if we come around about right here, we should be safe. And let's try to get that as straight as possible. And I do want snapping to be on. So let's go ahead and change that. Pretty nice. Okay, so if we put that one there, and then we'll roughly line up the second one later on behind it. But that'll give us the ability to build like a path that can lead us into this facility and out of it. So it looks like eggs will spawn here and straw goes in here. So this could get a manure pit added as well, which we might be able to sneak in there, and we could get manure to sell or use. Interesting. Okay, we will learn about that. That might be something we do. Okay, the next thing we're gonna want is, you know, some sheds and a place that is our like place of business. So let's go into tools, and we do have this shedaminium is what they call it. We call them barndominiums where I come from. And snapping is on, but it seems like this building isn't actually straight. I guess it is. I guess it is. Let's see how we can customize this though. Let's go in here and let's grab, you know, let's grab our favorite color. I don't know, do we dig that? Seems a little dark. Let's bring it up a little bit to be a little on brand here. And yeah, that's not terrible. What if we just went with a red? Oh, I actually like that faded look. It's a little pink, but I think if we pull it a little more towards red. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So this should be our shed, and it could be a temporary, I think it might have a sleeping location, but I could be wrong. But it definitely will be where we can store some vehicles and do some maintenance on it, I believe. So let's go ahead and line this one up back here, like so. And let's see how bad the terrain is looking here. It's not terrible, not great, but we could come in here and soften things up a little bit, I believe. Oh, that might just be a color difference. I think that does look good. Okay, not bad. And there's a little lip there, so it'll be interesting when we have vehicles, but I do want to kind of see this thing. Now we can get an actual scale going here. Let's go ahead and open this up. Nice US flag, I love it. And our wardrobe in here. A workshop. Does not have a sleeping quarters. That's okay. We'll get a house for that. And let's get that open too. And it looks like we do have a back gate as well that we probably won't use. Oh, we can sleep. We can sleep on the couch. Perfect. So until we get that house, we need to sleep. We can sleep there. All right, starting to look okay out here. The next thing we want to kind of figure out is probably silos. Kind of want this to be somewhat close to the entrance here. And yeah, that looks straight. So if we put that there, I don't think we're gonna need more than 2 million liters at any given time, but if we do, we can add some extensions to this. We could come in here and, you know, grab, oh, what's the most? 250,000 at a time. and add these extensions. So we could think about that later on, or get a second silo if we really need to. So that's gonna go there. And then some other sheds are gonna be needed, but I don't really wanna purchase those until we know all the equipment we have and where we need to store everything. I really enjoy the look of this farmhouse. So I think what I wanna do, so we have this entrance coming in, have like a front yard, and we'll pull this directly back. And we'll do something like that. And then this doesn't have a garage. I don't know if this is an American style house, but I think it's sweet. I think it'll work out pretty nice. Let's go ahead and look at sheds and see if there's anything that we have that could act as a garage over here for us. Kind of thinking like, what if we had this old barn? The scale of it's just kind of too small. That's not enough for like a carport, but we could do like something like that. Definitely gonna get added over here somewhere. I just don't know if there's anything that actually works as a garage in the mods that I have right now downloaded. So we might think about that a little bit differently later on, but that's a decent start there. And I want to do all the decorating. We're gonna do that slowly over time, but I do want to at least get like some grass in here, so I'll be back momentarily. All right, we are back here. So this is what we've got so far. We just added some, paths and changed things up a little bit and added some grass in. I did want to start showing like these decorative trees that we do have that are going to cost us money. I do a lot of terraforming that doesn't cost money, but in these type of playthroughs, because it doesn't really change the game for me, like the end condition, but I want it to look good for you guys. So that's what we're kind of doing. So I want to look at these trees and see, what do I want to kind of lead in with? I'd like some, do we have maple trees? I don't know if we actually do, but I want the ones that turn nice colors at the end of the year. Hickory, these oak trees. So I think we'll do some of this. So yeah, this is going to cost money. Just start lining this way. And like I said, there'll be more sheds and things eventually, but give us a nice little entrance like that. Don't get too close to the field there. And yeah, we'll go all the way up here. And I don't know what I'm gonna do for a garage by the house yet, so we're not gonna do the detailing up there until that comes, until we decide on that. But I think that works. And I think like, yeah, in here, let's do a couple different trees. Yeah, we'll do like this one here. We'll do, yeah, a couple of them right there. Just kind of mix it up, and we'll throw in there as well. So some of them might go away. And, again, a lot of this area probably will be used for some other sheds once we figure out exactly what we need. But I think that's enough time not farming. Let's get back to the store. I thought about doing this in a way that we just purchase everything we need right away. But the reason we have the line of credit is because I don't want to burn through it all. So we're going to buy what we need. So heading up to the dealership right now, there's the Plains, the Iowa Plains equipment. Yeah, both of these are nice. Okay, so here we are. We're gonna hop in here. Does this door open? Oh, we don't get to go in, or does it? No, let's hop in the store though. So the first thing we're gonna do is harvest that wheat that is on our property, and then that'll allow us to be able to, or enable us to be able to purchase some chickens. So let's go down to harvesters. We're gonna start off with the big boy. So we need to take out a little bit more of this line of credit now. We only have 2 million left. Let's just take it all. Let's take it all. We'll add back what we don't use. Ugh. We're gonna be short here. I spent too much already. But we are gonna go with the big pipe here on the AF11 Case IH harvester, and we will go with the Flex Draper, the FD250, and I do want the transport wheels on this thing, and we'll do the US model, so it will cost a little bit more money. We are gonna go with the Magnum AFS Connect series, and we can get this up to 432 horsepower. We'll go with the US style, and I think we're just gonna go with the wide wheels. I think that'll work. We're gonna get this Kenzie 851 grain cart here, the auger wagon. We're also gonna start with this Kenwood truck. We could push this all the way to 1500 horsepower, but we'll see how it is without that. We're gonna start with it as is, and we're gonna go with the Wilson trailer here as well. So this is everything that should get us going for a harvest. And where did the trailer ended up in the back there because we did too much stuff. All right, let's get this stuff moved. Let's start with the truck here, which might actually need to be last. Your eyes do not deceive you. You are seeing a lot of red. All right, first thing I want to do is get this home and make sure it will fit underneath the silo. Oh, look at the cab in here. This thing's futuristic. Pretty modern. All right, it's not looking bad. Not looking bad over here. First time kind of driving in. Do see some rendering issues with the terrain texture color that I'll probably want to change. This opening's nice and wide. These trees look pretty sweet. And we should come in here and unload. Works perfect. But if we also need to come over here with this, we can drop off some grain. All right, and then finish looping around this way. So we have $1.3 million to play with still, and a lot of equipment left to get, but this is a good start. I think what we'll do is get this over yonder. Right about here. And we'll go ahead and shut that off for now. We didn't go over the settings. It's pretty late in the playthrough at this point, but I mean, not really. So crop destruction will be on, periodic plowing will be off, field stones will be off, weeds required will be on, or weeds will be on, lime required will be on, disaster destruction enabled. That is what we're playing with there. We do want to also change these settings that I wish would just not be on by default. And now we're getting our new case tractor and the Kenzie auger wagon back to the farm. Now let's see if we hurt ourselves by putting this tree here. Now, I think we got enough room. Yeah, this could be the perfect spot for that. Okay, so now we did get the tires on this, so we should be able to attach this. I do see it, perfect. Oh, what a beast of a harvester. Now, the main reason why I wanted to start with this way with the line of credit was I've done so many like start from scratch from $0, and I just felt like doing one like this where we got to pay it off. Like, it's not free, so it's not a head start really. I mean, it gives us a good start, but it's a legitimate thing taking out loans like this to get your business up and running. 5 million might be a stretch, but again, like I said, I want to use this as kind of a benchmark to see how to make these really hard and enjoyable at the same time challenges. So this is something we might have blocked ourselves with, but we should be okay because we got plenty of room here and everything will be cleared for us just like this every time we harvest. So let's go ahead and drop that. And we might, look into more fields. We're gonna see how far we can push this one before we do that though. Because if we're able to get through this challenge with this one field financially, I think that is the idea, right? And get started here. So we should drop swath. Let's make sure that is enabled, because that'll be an extra possibility as we look into the manure for the chickens. So now that we can put straw into that facility, I guess that means we can sell it as well based off the rules. So looking like we're getting a small amount. Do we not have precision? I don't have precision farming enabled. Okay, let's get the soil samples here. 13,000 bucks is what that's going to cost us. Not the best, but 102 total looks like what we're looking at here. All right, I'm back at it. I guess we could have let the harvester warm up a little bit. It's only at 94 degrees there. It's getting up there though, over 100 now. Cranking along there. We got this new mod I've added down here. I already forgot what it's called, but we will be learning how to use it on the channel moving forward. 82% yield is what we're getting right now. So I don't think, we're gonna be able to increase it by 18%. So we'll get a decent idea from this field, but not 100% what we're gonna get. So not too bad. I think what I'm gonna do here is, well, probably about a headland on my own and see how things are going, and then we'll probably set up a little bit of auto drive to help. This is a ginormous field. It's time to get busy. Wow, this is gonna be quite the harvest. So much land here. Such a big field. All right, let's slow down. We're gonna get to 100% here. There we go. Let's go ahead and open the pipe. Like I said, we'll do this a little bit the first ourselves, but I think after we get done with the headland, I'll then start setting up a little bit of a course here. And we finally got the time moving. We are gonna do 1 day per month on this playthrough. I know I did adjust that on Whiskey RP, but that was for RP purposes. I definitely think these challenges should all be single day months. I could see some of them being extended, but I do like it this way on the challenges. Otherwise, you really don't limit yourself on what you can do in a given month if you just add infinite days. I know you can only go up to a certain amount, but you know what I mean. All right, so plenty of distance. Pipe is big enough. Was a little concerned about that, but plenty of clearance between the header and the pipe there. Get that unloaded. And I don't know how close this thing will become to get full. I didn't double check the liters on that, but it's looking like it's gonna get about 60%, I think. The harvester's dancing over here. It's moving around a ton. All right, so 20,000 liters went in, and it's at 66%, so about what I thought. And back at it. You know, and getting another tractor and a baler will probably be happening soon, but gotta keep an eye on them dollar amounts. After we turn the corner and go straight, I want to take a look at our net worth tracker and see if that is updating correctly, and we should start seeing, you know, a little differences in there based off of the loan that we have completely pulled out at this point, as well as our equipment and buildings that we own. So we should get a decent look at that here soon, but is this gonna just... It's just gonna work. What a cool field. We do the headland on one little line. It's continuous. You know, I'm not gonna complain about that. So right now we are showing a negative $440,000 net worth. So that's what we wanted to see here. So that's gonna get worse as the vehicles start to depreciate and the buildings start to depreciate. The land value is probably gonna stay the same. I don't think that will change, but we'll see. Cash in hand is going to keep going down, but that is exactly what we wanted to see there. We do have a negative net worth right now, and that'll probably get worse as we spend the rest of the money. So while we have some time just thinking, finishing this pass, we're at 43% full. The limitation that we put ourselves on with chickens, so selling just the eggs or their poultry, and then we can sell any type of grain that we have left over that we aren't feeding them. So if we're producing wheat because we want to feed them, we can sell wheat. So the straw was something that I didn't realize that mod does produce manure. So manure is something we can sell or use. Probably use it so we can save money on fertilizer. This is a huge field. But that means we can sell the excess straw that we're not putting into the chicken coop. So that's another revenue stream, but that's pretty much going to limit the revenue stream right there. I don't think we're going to go into the bakery because there's so much we would have to get into to be able to do that, but we can make adjustments, you know, year 3, 4, and 5, and really see where we can push the limits of this type of series. And I set it to 10 years and $10 million net worth. We might adjust that, and like I said at the beginning as well, I am using this as a baseline for these type of series as well, so probably will burn through this series relatively fast as I can with these harvests. And really is a style of playing that I really want to lock into. You know, sometimes we'll start with nothing and we will not use the line of credit, but we will use the net worth probably. Sometimes we will use the line of credit based on how we want to set up these 10-year challenges. And I think putting a time limit on it and a dollar amount is best for all of us. We know a goal that we're going towards instead of just starting a series and saying it's done when we feel like it's done. Yeah, not completely sold on that house yet. I will probably be looking around for different mods. That probably will get swapped out. And the hopper is going to be full again here of the harvester. So 20,000 liters again. And that's going to fill this up. So we will dump into the truck afterwards and then finish the headland and give it a fresh start at that point in the harvester when we hand it over to course play. And I don't know if one gravity wagon or auger wagon here is going to fill up the trailer of the semi, but we're gonna find out. I think it would be kind of ideal if it did. So every time we come over here and unload, it would automatically go to the silo afterwards. But let's see how quickly this back fills up. It seems like we are going to completely fill. It's going to be less than 30,000 goes into here. I should have paid attention to that to make sure these are compatible. Oh, it is more than 30. Perfect. Okay. Good, good, good. So that's completely empty, and we still have capacity in the trailer. All right, let's finish this headland. Then we're going to deliver some grain to the chicken coop and get some chickens. And we'll see if we're close enough to just unload it when we drive by here. And it looks like it is going to line up pretty perfect. Since we weren't able to completely empty the harvester, it's still at 79%. All right, let's go ahead and top this off and finish this semi up here. And the semi is full. Yeah, that finishes the headland. Another 6,500 about we're going to get here, 6,300. So now if we create a course here and we do one headland, it should respect what we did. And then we're going to come in here and save this course. Let's create a folder. We'll call it 20 for the field number. Save the course. Oh, select that and then save the course as harvest/bale. So we'll be able to reuse that course anytime we want. And let's see, we want to potentially turn on our eyes here, and this should do it. So if we come here and go to nearest waypoint, they will start harvesting. All right, so let's get that shut off now. 2 hours. Boy, we got 2 hours left. All right, so let's get in the semi. You know, for efficiency purposes, we might want a second harvester. You know, and it doesn't have to be the exact harvester, but it needs to have the same header at least. Now, I don't know. We have 40,700 liters in here. I do not know what the capacity is over here. So let's go ahead and get our wheat dropped off. We'll drop off as much as it lets us. The rest will go in the silo. I imagine it's going to take a good amount. Okay, it did take all of it. Good to know. Actually, I was going to back up and get back to the harvester, but let's go ahead and get some chickens purchased. And we'll see a little bit more about this mod and what it holds here. So it holds 200,000. That is good to know. So we want, let's start with the 6-month-old ones so we can get some income right away. And let's spend about, I mean, I kind of want to learn, so let's get a nice round number. Let's start with 200. That's 200 of 5,000 that will fit in here. We could have purchased all 5,000, but let's slow roll it, and we can fit 100,000 straw. So we will need to get that silo added, the manure pit added. All right, I am going to shut the recording off for a while, get all of my automation going here, and rejoin you when we're closer to being done with this harvest. Okay, I think I have everything set up right here with auto drive. The one thing we could do is adjust this to try to get them to unload on the go and dive in here and try to figure that out real fast. I think we do have the settings correctly. We'll see how it works. See if this guy will start unloading him or not. But I think it's when they're at 60%. So this is all good. This is all good. 63% won't. That's just how we're gonna have to deal with it on here, I think. I think it'll be all right. Okay, 1.3 million left. So let's look at balers. Absolutely going square here. And we'll go with the K brand. Should be able to do 240, that's fine. The twine can be the default. Is there one that's cheaper? Oh, just empty. Okay, so let's go ahead and buy that. 195 horsepower is what that requires. So we could go into like a medium tractor here, save a little bit of money, and we can put this one up to 302 horsepower. We'll add the front loader just in case we want to use it eventually. And I think that's all we're gonna do on this tractor. Now, it's in our best interest to not burn through the entire budget of the $5 million. So we gave ourselves that. We don't have to use it. We could have gone a lot cheaper, but you know, I wanted it to be a fun playthrough where we have some good equipment, some big fields to start with, And if we had money left over after buying the equipment is when I would start looking at a second possible field. And we do have a decent amount of variety of prices on this map, so we're not out of the woods yet. We need something to plant with, and I think we're gonna go with a direct drill, so we shouldn't need a cultivator. Well, periodic plowing's on, so we might need to get a plow eventually. And then we need something for treating weeds. We need something for lime and fertilizer. And I don't think we'll have enough manure. You know, I do not have any restriction on leasing, though I'm not a big fan of it. So we should be able to come in here and load this course and do first waypoint, and they should just start working. Now we're gonna use universal auto load. Oh man, let's go ahead and let's stop that. I don't want the mismatch of bales, so we are going to, I guess we'll just deal with it for this one. Let's go ahead and switch the bale size to 240, and we'll let them go ahead and continue on the nearest waypoint. No calculation. Oh, an hour and 30 minutes. So yeah, so this won't take as long, but getting a nice head start here. And they are cutting into the field. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. They are not going to make it back, I don't think, before needing to be unloaded. So they'll have to do their little maneuver there. But let's look at possibilities here for trailers. I do have one that I want right here. I don't know how to say the brand, guys. The platform semi-trailer here. So I think this will work really good for pallets and bales. So we're going to have this set at standard in the auto load settings here. And I don't think we need anything fancy, but combinations, we'll look at trucks we can purchase. And for this one, 52,000. Yeah, this is a cheap one. So let's go ahead and buy another one of those. So we'll have two of the same semis, which eventually, if we really need to, we can get another grain trailer, but I think we'll get away with just one on this playthrough, at least for now. And at least to start here, this will be my job to make sure we get the bales out of the way and make sure they're not going to interfere with the harvest. Now, if this is all working correctly, oh, look, they're unloading, or they're getting ready to. We should be able to just drive up and pick these up. And yes, perfect. Okay, so we'll see how this stacks and how many we get, but we're gonna follow the baler around the headland and make sure all of these are getting out of the way as they drop. And then once they start doing the ups and downs, it won't be as important to keep up and make sure, but we have nothing else to do at this point. And the mismatch size, oh, look at that. Let's say the mismatch size doesn't show up much, but it is kind of overhanging a little bit. So we might want to adjust that in the configuration later on. Now these big bales, they're not going to drop very often. So this is good setup. And we'll get that manure pit here purchased in a minute. All right, getting an idea of where we're at in this harvest, and we are not even making a dent in it yet. And nothing in here, I believe. Yeah, they're coming back. They should just be able to come right through here and loop around to drop off the goods. But let's see, we want to sneak one in the back here. So we're gonna go to silo extensions, I believe is what we want. And we should be able to take advantage of this here. We want it the other way. I do see the unload there, okay. Come on. And we're gonna go ahead and hit B so we can place it where we want, like so. Okay. And then just do a little bit of repair work here. We're gonna go with this grass just to darken it up a little bit. And then we'll get our grass back here. Okay, now let's make sure that did attach. Net worth is looking even worse now, guys. It's gonna go down before it goes up. And over here, manure is showing up as 0, so that is good. And we have 80,000 liters already. So once we get through the headland, I will drop off as much of the straw as I can and start getting that manure being produced. Though more chickens would be helpful, but it's gonna be interesting to see how this turns out, guys. All right, I think they're safe to leave alone for a little bit, but I wanna make sure this turn doesn't get interrupted here. And that was about perfect. Okay, let's go drop this off and have some chickens make their poop worth it. If we just cruise on right over here, and once we stop completely, this should switch like that. And then please take it, please. Oh boy. All right, I think that did it. Let's give it a shot. Same problem. Or did it take some? I don't think it took any. says straw right there. Let's try putting it on the ground. Maybe the manure pit's not connected. I don't know. Let's make sure this is gonna unload to the right. So we'll do that. And then it's not taking it. Okay. We'll debug that off camera a little bit and see if it needs an implement and it doesn't take bales. So, I mean, this being a food icon, but it shows straw there. Yeah, I'll do some testing. But let's get back unloading, and I think at this point we'll probably... those might be in the way. We need to move those, but we'll probably shut the recording off for a little bit. All right, we are at the dealership. We're picking up the front loader because I did test it out, and this is how we're gonna have to do it. So the feed mixer is what we're gonna have to use, and it does work. So we'll be able to utilize the straw. I was getting a little worried that that mod didn't actually work, but I did figure it out, and I'll show you guys here in a sec. All right, what I'm gonna do is park it super close right here. So we're sneaking up right on the building, and that might not have been close enough, so I'm gonna give it a little shimmy here. And I think right there will do, but whoops. We will reconnect to that in a minute to make sure. But it's just time to load it on up, and I'm gonna try to grab 2 at a time. I'm gonna try to grab 4 at a time. I think weight might be an issue here, but we'll do 2 here and I'll show you, and then we'll go get back to making sure everything's going okay with the harvest. Just back away. And that should mix good once we connect. Oh, it's already doing it for us. Okay, so then we just hook up to the mixer here, if we can get close enough, and it works right there. All right, I'm gonna get busy, and I'm gonna get this back to baling now that probably got a good head start. A couple things to talk about here. We got an hour and a half to finish this harvest. You can see we're getting close. The wheat does turn bad in September. It will wither, so luckily we're gonna get all this done. It was looking close for a while. As you can see, here's one grain cart operator, or one, yeah, and here's another. We ended up spending more money, and it was possibly a mistake, but I don't think we would have got this harvest done in time, so we're absolutely going to need 2 grain cart operators, and 1 semi-truck seems to be handling it just fine at this point. So they should be out here getting ready. Where are they at? Oh no, they went in. So this one's going to come in here, and then once, sorry for all the tabbing, once we get this to 50%, the other grain cart operator will come. So it should be good. We should be ready to finish, but the other development, the chickens are not producing manure. I don't know why it has this option if it's not working, and why it was in ModHub. Chickens produce, let's see, let's read this down here. The manure shows there, straw is populated. I don't see anything else that we need to add to it, so not 100% sure. I expect things that are on ModHub to work and be tested before they're released to us, so be it. So that brings me to a dilemma on, do we even sell the straw if we can't actually use it as a product for our cattle, or sorry, not cattle, our chickens? And then it also begs the question of this extra equipment we purchased, do we need this extra semi? Do we need this baler? Is it actually a product that we're using for chickens? Since it's not base game, I'm leaning towards no, and I think I'm just gonna sell all this equipment and make the straw vanish. And I think that's the best course of action here, and we'll probably do that afterwards, and not do straw moving forward. 63% full. They should be able to turn around and get unloaded. The grain cart operator is heading out to do that now, so we should beat midnight. And getting this filled up, having a little bit of issue with these operators, but it's nothing that we can't just fix ourselves. It is a big operation. I am enjoying it. So this one's gonna go away. They're done for the night. So we have the other grain cart operator gonna finish the job, and we're gonna start stacking some things in here to see how we're doing capacity wise. I'm not sure exactly how I want to do this in here though. Let's go about right there for now, and then we'll figure that out later. So finishing up the baling, and then they're gonna loop around for the last pass, but I think I am gonna get the baler out of the way for now. And I need to think through that a little bit. I am leaning towards not doing the straw. Let's look at time-saving stock check here in a second. So net worth, almost negative 900,000 at this point. Time-saving stock check, we do show already 155,000 liters in wheat in the silo. And then we have like $200,000 worth of straw. It's kind of why I'm leaning towards not doing it. Over here, we do have the full 200,000 in here. They've eaten a little bit, but we filled this up to 200,000 liters of wheat already for our 200 chickens. And they should be unloading. I don't understand why they wait. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But there's no reason why we can't do the driving ourselves. Let's finish this harvest, and then we'll take a look at some things and make some decisions here. And coming to the end of harvest, I'm gonna get everything unloaded, all put away. And at that point, we're gonna rejoin you and do a little recap to see what we actually produced on this harvest and make some decisions on what we're gonna do moving forward. And just finishing up the baling here, let's take a look at our numbers now. We added 200,000 liters into the chicken feed, and we also have 200,008 liters in the silo. So the chicken coop got completely full. As you can see, it has, it's just used a little bit. So right now we can make about $500,000. You know, eggs will produce a little bit more, but $600,000 is what our bills are gonna be at least if we spend this other 292,000. So before midnight hits, which we are pretty close, we are gonna come in here and make a payment. And I am gonna make a $200,000 payment here. And that should satisfy the monthly one, so it shouldn't charge us overnight. We'll see if I did that correct. Otherwise, we are gonna have another $53,000 removed from our balance there. And you can see we did repay 200,000, but we only have 175,000 available because it did pay the interest first. So a little bit of a thing there. There was a grace period that it does no interest, but we're way beyond that grace period. So you can see how losing money is gonna work there. So at midnight, we'll see it tick over and make sure that that is working correctly. And this should go down to 119 payments left. Yeah, I think the payments are gonna hurt. We still have a lot to buy. Might as well see it at midnight. I was gonna sleep, but let's see what happens. 3 minutes to go. Long night. Oh man. Perfect, it worked correctly. Let's go ahead and look in here and see what the stats are showing now. Though that didn't update. I think I have to, there's something going on with that. To where the UI is not updating correctly. We'll see. It might take a little bit of time for that to show up, but you see the interest rate did jump to 6.7, so the payment's going to get adjusted once it calculates all of that. Net worth is now at, it's going down. Almost $1 million negative, which is what I expected. So it's a grind. We got to increase that by 11 million at this point to call this challenge good in 9 years. Like, that's rough. We need a pressure washer. We need a lot of things. We need to make sure we can get through the year with payments. Otherwise, bankruptcy and loss. Or we can sell things. We're going to have to sell things, and we're going to make adjustments. But I'm going to make it daylight so we can think through some things here. Yeah, so Manure shows it can hold 4 million. It's not working, so I don't know. Maybe I'm going to try something here before we call this a failure. We're going to sell this one. We did lose a little bit of money on it. But let's go into actual silos because we did an extension last time. And we'll try this one. And we'll see if it makes a difference. Otherwise, I think what the plan already is, we're gonna do sorghum. And I think what my thought process is wheat produces, well, chickens eat wheat and wheat produces straw, so we can sell the straw. That's what we're gonna stick to. And our first day here, we did not get a full pallet, but I have a feeling that's gonna change for us momentarily or in a few months. Looking at time-saving stock check, you know, $3,000 worth of eggs. That needs to increase big time. I'm a little concerned about us getting through this full year without going bankrupt, but we will find out. We have things we could sell, things we can get rid of. And if this manure pit doesn't work, it's It's a good opportunity for us to make some money off of selling equipment. And being that we are going to switch to sorghum, looking at the calendar, we have until April to get prepped for that, figuring out how we're going to apply lime, fertilizer, and herbicide, or treat the weeds another way. We might be leasing some equipment this first year. So we are in October. You can see the payment did come out, and it was about $25,000 in interest. Let's go up here now. Yeah, so it is decreasing now. Interest rate is 6.41 this time around, 54,000 this month. We need to make some money or figure out how to get some money for that payment. And tracking net worth, yep, going down just slightly as the equipment and buildings are going to start depreciating. And to get that payment, enough for the payment, I am going to do a couple loads of straw. We're going to go sell it. A little bit of a journey, but I am going to make sure this gets filled up. And let's double check this manure pit now and make a decision on that. Yeah, it's not working. I'm not going to worry about debugging it. So this is going to get sold. Actually, before we sell the straw, let's go ahead and grab one of our tractors here. And this might be enough money to get us to be able to make that payment for October. Yeah, and I don't believe in just giving us back money for our mistakes when we made the mistake. And this one's debatable. Like, nah, we don't need to repaint it. We don't need to repair it either. Let's just sell this. We are going to get $73,000. So that is going to help big time there. That'll get us through October. We don't need to sell straw while the prices aren't at their peak. Didn't really, or we'll sell the manure pit too, but I didn't really want to completely do manure, but I don't know. It was tempting, extra money, extra, you know, save us money on fertilizer, but I'm not going to debug something that's a mod hub mod, you know? So let's jump in the sky. Let's get us about $12,000 back from selling the manure pit here, the manure heap. Too bad we don't get it all back, but that's okay. We actually lost about $25,000 in that process. But how to get a seeder, how to get a spreader, it's gonna be rough. This is kind of pathetic for the 1st November, but we do see that eggs are at their peak price, so let's figure out where we're selling them. And the pancake house seems to be the closest one with the same top price as one that's farther away. So we'll definitely go to the closer place, but next year, you know, we might be looking into getting more chickens, seeing how slowly they're going through that feed right now, that we have a ton of it. And I wanted to be hesitant on that to begin with, but I think we know our answer now. So this should bring in about $11,000. We'll be good already for the November payment. And then December we'll be selling some straw and wheat. So we should be good to get to April at minimum without going bankrupt. So I think we're gonna be okay. There we go. We do have an environmental score negative right now. So that's something we might wanna look at taking care of and try to improve before selling the rest of the stuff. That was rough. Forgot about that part. The only thing we could really do is some pH work, which it's already kind of high, like nitrogen's hurting us. So not getting this planted before selling, such a small gap there, 46. I wonder if getting the pH higher would get us to at least the where we need to be. And then soil sampling here, spending the money on that might help. Well, we have no field. Will it let us? Oh, looks like it won't. Okay, so that shouldn't be counting. Oh, sampling's full. I'm silly. Sampling is full. Weeding's at 15. We could get pH a little bit higher, I think. So I'm gonna figure out what we want for a spreader long term, and I'll rejoin you. So I did elect to lease this time around to save us a little bit of cash, and we're gonna need a lot more lime. So we'll probably get the semi and the flatbed over here once we get started doing the liming, or when we need it. We have time. There's no reason to burn money on workers right now. So we'll get this all filled up and start doing the lime session, and hopefully when it clicks over to December, that bonus or the environmental score goes to at least 50, because I believe that's where we need it to be neutral and not lose money or gain money from the environmental score bonus. Long term, we will get a lime station added to the farmyard, but we got to have some cash in hand a little bit better than we have right now before we do that. I do love this new mod. We can see at the bottom, we are pulling 32 tons total. And I think that includes the weight of the tractor, but it makes me feel a little bit better when I see that number and know that, you know, why some of these tractors struggle to pull things. We do have a lot of bales in the way. We'll see if they become a problem or not. We'll give it a shot. Hopefully they're not lined up to where we run into them. And away we go. No speed override in this challenge. So 11 miles an hour it is. It's going to make it even harder on us. Because time matters. We have to get things done in a timely manner. And I wanted it to be a little bit more realistic. Though I don't know how realistic a $5 million land loan is like this, or construction line of credit, but I love it. Maybe $2 million would be a better idea moving forward. Again, baseline here. I think it'll be fun though. Moving forward, I have a lot of ideas for different scenarios for these challenges. Yep, we're gonna have to get that truck out. Oops, didn't mean to stop it. We're gonna have to get the semi out here so we can move bales around, and we're definitely gonna need a whole lot of lime. And back at it, we'll keep moving them as we need to. But we've used 62% already, or we have 62% left, and that's all we've done. So you can see it's gonna be a long day putting lime down. Definitely needed. And we're going to burn through a lot of it. Definitely will be looking into something with more capacity and a larger spreading width long term. If you have any good mods in mind, let me know. But we're not even going to get around the headland with 14,000 liters. Boy, we're going to need a lot of lime. And let's use all of it. Didn't mean to waste some there. All right, so let's get in the semi again. I think what we'll do... I know, oh man. We're just gonna get as much as we can fit on this semi-trailer. Starting to think I made this too easy, but I don't think it is. It's definitely gonna be a lot of work. Lots of people wandering around. This map's beautiful. I'm loving the trees. We'll have to take a look at ours. I didn't even notice if ours changed colors. They should have. If not, we're gonna swap them out for different trees. All right, let's load up on some lime. You know, when we do 8 at a time, it's gonna be 3,600 each time. So I'm gonna do 4 sets right now. Once we get done with the liming session, we will have to figure out a way to have enough money. That's all it's gonna fit? Is this not gonna double stack? Oh, it is, okay. And then that should be all that it carries. All right, that's okay. We'll be able to move 40,000 liters at a time, and that should get us a little bit of runway before we have to come back, but we'll keep on grinding. Probably shut the recording off for a little bit. When we spend money, well, before we make it December, we'll definitely rejoin you. And I think we're gonna have to get used to working through the night on this series, which is fun. It's fun, it's going good. We are finishing up. We'll take a look at the finance screen to see how much money we spent on lime. It was a lot. You see we're down to $28,000 in our account. We're gonna have to do some straw selling, I think is what I wanna do, instead of taking out more of that line of credit. Save on some interest, because it's becoming pretty clear that those monthly payments, until we get that paid down, is really gonna hurt us. So we bought about the right amount there with 1,700 left. I am gonna find a spot to drop this, and we'll return the spreader, which we definitely used for more than an hour today. So I'm sure I just missed that fee. But when we take a look at the finance tab, we'll probably recognize that here. All right, the vehicle is returned, and look at the finance tab. A little bit of an expensive month. Miscellaneous, $91,000. And I believe that is where the cost for the lime is in there. So it was a pretty expensive day. We could see not as expensive as August, where we spent a lot of money, but we had, you know, miscellaneous costs in here for the line of credit and everything. Boy, all right, let's look at the net worth tracker right now. We're close to $1 million. So doing exactly what I thought it would do. Let's shut that off for a second, but let's go ahead and get some of these further. I don't know. We'll just pick up some that I can find here. Some straw. We'll sell one. See how close that gets us to our payments. Let's take a look at that so we know. Oh, interest rate's down to 4%, so that's in our favor. 49,000 is what it's going to be this week, and that is dynamic. I have no control over that. It is built into the code base of the mod itself. All right, let's get some straw. Get up to that $48,000 amount. And go from there. Yeah, unfortunate that we're doing this at night. Hopefully it looks okay for you guys on YouTube. Have no idea how much each load's gonna bring in financially, so we'll see how many times we have to do this trip. But it's 180,000 liters, so it should be a decent amount. And not too far to drive. You can see we're almost there already. Beautiful moon in the sky. Here in Iowa Plains. This must be the animal dealer up here. Looks like it. Perfect. Cruise on in and see how, like, we're gonna lose some money here because we're not gonna get that. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Can we just do this? Oh, we're gonna have to, oh, we could do that. All right, so strap them in and then let go, and those should sell. Then we can pull forward. Losing a lot of money with that environmental score, but we did get to the dollar amount we need to sleep on one load. That's not bad. So hopefully overnight, that score will change. I'm not 100% sure when it gets recalculated. I think it is every night. And hopefully we can get rid of that negative penalty there. All right, $3,000 to start December. Let's take a check in here. Didn't change much, did not change much. Our debt is down to 4.7 million. So we do have, you know, about $250,000 to spend on, you know, anything that we need. I'm gonna move this with super strength into the shed here. And we do need more sheds, but we got priorities. So let's take a look at time-saving stock check. And the prices are pretty close. We're just gonna wait a little bit of time today and get some money. Let's go ahead and look at the chickens. We have some babies, which is good. So now we are up to 600 already. So this is gonna get populated pretty quick. Not bad. So I don't think we need to buy anymore. We'll let that naturally happen over time. And yeah, gotta start getting more eggs. We gotta get more eggs to get produced. All right, I'll see you probably after we sell everything. And we're getting ready to wrap up the first year here, sitting in our office, just kind of looking over things. Let's take a look at the finance screen here first. Well, first, let's take a look here. Our environmental score did not go up this month. I'm not 100% sure when that ticks over, but let's take a look at the finance screen. We did have a lot of negative here of miscellaneous. Some of it's the payment. Some of that is also the environmental score that we lost. And we see we have bales sold $177,000 we made, and harvest income of almost $250,000. Sitting pretty good there. We're looking at right now our net worth is all of a sudden at negative $538,244. We have 600 chickens, $4,727,478 with 117 months remaining. I'm gonna fix that in between eventually. That'll line up with the end of our 10 years. Right now, you know, we should see 108 months left. But year one is in the bag here, and kind of debating, do we hold on to the money? Does it make sense to hold on to the money, or do we make a payment here? And let's see, let's do 400,000 right now. Make a payment of 400,000. We're just gonna help ourselves out here with the debt. So that puts the debt down to $4,345,011. But the net worth did jump. Oh no, that needs to save. Let's go here, hit save. 555,778 is our net worth negative. Not bad for the first year. We're gonna get to the next month here and get to, what was it, April? So we can plant some sorghum and decide if we're gonna purchase or lease this time around. And I'm not gonna show all of this, but we'll do it in January here. We have nothing to do on the farm. Let's go check on the chickens just to make sure they have enough feed and how the eggs are doing. But we are gonna have to take out a little bit of money from the line of credit to make our payment, which is always fun to rob Peter to pay Paul. I think that is the saying. Still 600 chickens, so they'll get to that 5,000 in plenty of time, but we do have a full pallet. Not producing a ton. Not a ton. So we have 1,500 here. We'll see in February how high that gets. But 45,000 is what we need. So we need to take out, we're just gonna do $25,000 just to be safe. So we'll amount to draw here, 25,000. And that should cover it because the interest rate, well, oh, it went up. Okay, so that's gonna be a game we're gonna have to play there. 7.32 this month. All right, we're gonna take out another 20 just to make sure things do clear. And we'll see where money's sitting and how much we have left in that line of credit when we get to April. All right, it is April, and if I'm understanding this right, so we have 1,000 chickens now. So we're gonna get to that 5,000 probably close to the end of this year. And we're producing about a pallet a night now. So not bad, not bad. The production is going up on that. So we can see right now we have roughly $16,000 worth of eggs. Pretty good. So let's take a look at our equipment and remind ourselves what horsepower we have on the tractor we're gonna use for planting. 435, and we have 2 of those. Okay, so I mean, value here, we're gonna see this stuff start to decline over time. But let's go into the store. Let's take a look at seeders, and there's a lot of things we want to take into account here. I was eyeing this. It can go 9 miles an hour, 12 meter width, can do fertilizer and seed, and we have plenty of horsepower. Then we look at this, we have enough horsepower, and it's a 15 meter and can do both, but would require tillage, where this one does not. So that's what I'm leaning towards. 9-meter width, this one's 12. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it. So let's look at the line of credit. Is this something that makes sense to purchase? So we have 600,000 available. I am gonna take out 200,000 here. Let's do 250 right now. We got to keep in mind we have a lot of months yet to get through before we make more money. So we're still not out of the woods yet. We do have a lot of equipment that we could sell. Oh, I leased that without upgrading it. There was an upgrade to the capacity left. Oh no, we bought it. We purchased that. We haven't purchased it yet. I'm being silly, getting ahead of myself. We are gonna buy it. That way we don't have to worry about the cost of leasing it being a waste, where we purchase it and we'll lose value in it, but it'll still go towards our net worth. And I don't know, it just doesn't seem as much of a waste when you buy it, right? Okay, so I do want to upgrade. It's $3,500 for that, and that's all we're gonna do there. No idea how much seed we're gonna use, so I'm gonna buy 2 of these. And solid fertilizer, I'm gonna buy 3. And let's look at the line of credit now. We do just have enough to get through the month if we don't have to buy anything else. But can it be that simple financially there? I don't think so. I bet we're gonna have to buy more fertilizer, probably seed as well. And let's make sure we get this set to the correct crop type here. And we messed up. We messed up. You can't do sorghum with these. Okay, Chris. All right, everything should be sorted out now. We do have the Kenzie here with a little bit wider width than what we did have, you can see, which I guess is a good thing, but we ended up spending a lot more money than I was planning on. And we'll see how quickly we do go through this seed and fertilizer. But yeah, 11 miles an hour, actually pretty happy with that instead of the 7, and a bigger width, so that's not bad. Not bad at all. Getting around the headland the first time here. The fertilizer cost is going to be rough here today. So I think the dream of getting another field is definitely out the window, if I didn't mention that already. Maybe year 3? Maybe. But 40% burnt through of the fertilizer. Not a lot of the seed. So let's get this partial pass out of the way here next. And we'll start doing ups and downs, and hopefully that's not doubling the fertilizer we're using. Every penny's gonna count right now. I'm interested in the net worth calculation here. Let's go ahead and save it, make sure the loan is updated correctly. Haven't got a chance to fix that yet. All right. Okay, it's gonna take a while. It's gonna take a while. Is that right? We still have, okay, that math does add up. 300,000 to play with, but we're gonna need that for our payments until we have this next harvest, because we're just not producing enough eggs to really make a dent, even if we wanted to sell it. There is a little bit of wheat here, not a lot, and 100,000 in straw that's stuck in that production back there, or the chicken coop. So we got some things we can sell. We'll probably sell the baler and that extra tractor we have, if it comes to that. I don't see us, until we get more fields, needing more tractors, so that might make sense to do before April ends. All right, well, the fertilizer went a little farther than I thought it was gonna go, so that's a positive. So let's go ahead and turn around and lock in. We're gonna get the semi again, and once we have a little bit of cushion, we're definitely going to purchase the little silo containers, the bins that we can just purchase directly from, or just fill them up. We'll probably purchase from the store and fill them up so they're on location, so we don't have to do as much driving around like this. And before damage gets too bad on some of these vehicles, we're definitely going to need to get a pressure washer. Probably we'll do that after seeding or planting. We also need to get a weeder. I think that's the route we're going to go financially on that, because we're not going to be able to afford the See and Spray. Let's go ahead and we're going to purchase, we need to do liquid here. And I'm just gonna grab 10,000, which is gonna be, gosh, $16,000. And we'll probably need more, but I just wanna start with that for now. Lots of money being spent. Oh, we can just do it here. Say, while I'm thinking about it, we are just gonna sell this stuff, get our money in a little bit better of a state. So all this stuff's gonna get sold. We're not gonna need it. Not that. Whoa, slow down. Yep. And the Puma is gonna go away too. All right, I think that's gonna help. Is this one we have to fold up to load? There we go, I think we did. Or we just got close enough now. Alrighty, be a little annoying each time having to do that, but we'll get by and back at it. It'll be interesting to see how far we get with this 2,800 liters. Be able to fill up two more times at least, maybe 3. My math's off there. All right, back at it, guys. The only problem we're having with this planter is how to fill it up, and sometimes it's confusing where it has to be. So we might, you know, like we said, switch it up how we're getting the fertilizer in here, but I think we bought the right amount. We're gonna have 1,800 liters to do just this strip here and the rest of a full pass. So going good. We bought the right amount. Let's get this out of the way for now. And this truck really isn't gonna have a job for a while, but I did want to show this going on. 6 miles an hour because cruise control was set low. I was wondering why they were going so slow. I guess they can go 7, but they're getting it done, making good time here. We did purchase this outright as well, so this is how we're gonna treat weeds. No herbicide needed. Should help with that environmental score big time. Once that weeding is done, it'll be time to get straight to harvest, outside of spending money on the loan every month. But I think we're in a good place. So we did trade that tractor and the baler for the equipment we have now. Feels like a good trade-off, and financially we're pretty much in the same spot we were. Looking at that debt of, well, I think that it might be the highest it's been. Almost $1 million. So hopefully that starts ticking closer to 0 as we finish year 2. And all done planting. Awesome. Let's go ahead and stop so this can fold. We absolutely need to get the pressure washer. We're gonna get that going before we do the harvest. Such big equipment we're working with, I love it. So kind of future planning here. I do think I want a shed probably in this area. So I'm gonna put this here for now, just to kind of remind me of that. And while that weeding's going, we're gonna get this in the shed-aminium, the barn-aminium here. And I should be able to weave, maybe not. And that's all prepped for harvest, besides getting washed. All right, and we will take this over. We'll just have to keep in mind that everything to the left is done except for the headland. And they made a decent chunk for us, or did a decent chunk of it. But now it's time to finish. I did want to clarify something for the video here. We have the chicken flattening here, the mod that we're using. And there is a note down here. The base game does not normally support straw manure for chickens. Manure production and manure consumption therefore only work on maps with customized animal XML. Add straw and manure in animals XML for chickens. So we could make that adjustment, but I think we're just gonna move on, not using fertilizer or manure. I'm about halfway done with the weeding, we can see. Ready to get to that harvest, man, I'm itching. And we're gonna start working on getting our maintenance taken care of. So I'm picking something up here. Let's go ahead and head in the store. And right here for $4,400, the dual-wheeled pressure washer. Let's buy it. I've been itching to try this thing out. Let's see if we can figure out how to hook it up to the front of the tractor here. Was there an option I didn't select? Let's see. Oh yeah, we want that. We want that. Okay, so let's go ahead and head back. We can modify it over there. Silly. I got all this time to kill and I'm still rushing. Ooh, you can go fast in this one. Nice. Well done. Cool mod. All right, let's go ahead and get out of it. We should be able to hop in here, customize it, and we will add the 3-point hookup. Why not add the lighting and everything? It's just a little bit more money. Now I'm gonna put it on the back. I know you can put it on the front too, but I don't know if we can on this one. I think I only have a 3-point on the back, but that is slick. Can we use it like that? We can. All right, I dig this. Look how much faster things are getting cleaned too. That is sweet. Nice. All right, let's get home. Oh, if we can. Let me in. Perfect. And we can just cruise around and get everything washed while this is hooked up to the back here. But I do want to get fuel. I did notice that we're getting a little low and we got that harvest coming up. So while we're away from the farm, we can go to the strategically placed fuel station, it looks like here. just a fence between us and our property. Another expense we're just gonna have to deal with. $507. We now have 647 liters in the tank. Won't show all of it, but you know, we're just gonna wash things. Super fast too. That number just decrease. Now, how far can we go with these? Can I wander all the way in here? No way. That's cool. Got that done. Just get these done in no time. No more reason to be lazy when I can move this far. I can do it this fast. Can we sneak out? I don't know if we can. So we've got the header on the other side. So let's just hop back in here. We'll drive over, get the header washed. And then we'll just have the semi and the grain trailer to wash, as well as the other tractor out doing work and the weeder. Oh, we gotta get the seeder too, or the planter. And this one's filthy, but not for long. And I'm gonna take a peek. Well, you know, we need to get the header moved in here and see the maintenance costs on that. But this should be able to sneak in there as well and stay, so we can look at that at the same time. Oh, fuel is below, well, let's do the maintenance first, then we'll go top this off before the harvest. We're definitely gonna need fuel on this for the harvest. But if I get this somewhat close, I think just being in this room will have this show up now. So let's take a look. We're not gonna worry about paint conditions, but we are gonna repair everything. So a little bit of expense here, but not too terrible. The wagons I really don't care about, but those we will get done. Leave that there for now. We'll top this off with some diesel as well. And probably the other case when it gets done. I think the semis are fine. But it is nice. I didn't even realize how close this was. Super convenient. Yeah, this is gonna be pricey. Probably over $1,000 here. Wow, 1,200. It's expensive to be a farmer. It is August in year 2, and we are ready to harvest. But let's take a look at where we're sitting before we do the harvest here. Let's start with time saving stock check here. We do have 12,000 eggs at this point for $50,000. Starting to look good. Let's actually take a peek in here. That's a lot of chickens. Let's go over there and see the total. So 2,000. So we're getting there. We're 20% there for the amount of chickens, and they're starting to produce pretty good. They're also burning through food faster, so we're gonna have to keep that in mind. So now let's take a look at some other things. Let's save first to make sure my broken mod updates. Our line of credit right now, we have 4.5 million taken out of it, and yeah, that's looking pretty good, but our net worth is now at a negative 1 million. The depreciation of our vehicles and buildings is really kicking in, and the money that we have is also somewhat of an issue. But we are gonna go ahead and where are you going? Get started on this harvest here. Get everything all prepped, get all of our vehicles in place. And we're gonna want to, first, we're gonna drop off at the chickens. And you're probably gonna need some help, aren't you? Yeah, I had a feeling. That was my bad. Bad parking job there. And these ones should be good to just get going. And looking at the yield information here, 120% yield bonus right now. It's starting to update. So we're seeing a nice green color here, and that is definitely going to help. 120%, getting 17 tons per hectare. We're going to have to stop a lot more. 2 hours, 17 minutes for the total harvest, but we're going to have to unload more often. We're already at 23% full. We got the grain cart operators ready. The semis, kind of just waiting for them to move for it to get in place. But man, good start here. Year 2 looking solid. Yields dropping to 95% right here. Let's take a look at that map. And I think we're not going to see our environmental score increase. Oh, it's at 92, so it did take place. So everything but weed control, because we aren't using the See and Spray. Huge bonus we're going to get there. But let's look at yield here. That's nitrogen. Yeah, yield's starting to change, and it's going to match the soil type. So we're going to get the best around this area. And that's about it for the best. And then, yeah, not bad though. So we got a decent amount there, and then all of the silty clay going to be a lot lower yield, but I'm hoping really hoping we can get that number closer to 0 for our net worth before we end year 2. So I'm finding the best course of action here is to be the grain cart operator, and that one's following and chasing because it's still on auto drive. So if I have that one chasing and we get this one full and I pull away, we should be able to really keep going without the harvester stopping. So that's what we've been doing. It's busting through this. We probably need to have one more load that can go to the chicken coop. We start filling that up with sorghum. So we're gonna get that full, and then we're probably gonna have to save a lot of the sorghum this time around because I think we're gonna burn through more than that 200,000 moving forward. So tracking good. I'm hoping once we get to the, well, I don't know what I'm hoping, but I'm thinking if we get to this pass here and they turn around and let the other grain cart operator take over, I'm hoping they get all the way through that pass before they need to get full. But the yield is pretty good, so they might not be able to, but they may. We'll see. And yeah, getting us about 70% full on this pass completely does make sense to do what I was talking about. So we'll see how it goes when they turn around. Hopefully they don't have to stop and pull out to unload. Hopefully they can make that entire pass. Maybe we should have found some combines with a little more capacity. This field's just too long. Ah, they are stuck with what we thought. Okay, so we're gonna change this to silo now. And like so. And they should go straight to the silo now. And we're gonna hold about right here so that when it comes back, it doesn't run into us, but we should see it through the trees coming over to the silo here very quickly. There it is. Should make a nice sharp turn. Ooh, coming in hot. Nice. So we're starting to get some, the rest of the sorghum is gonna go into the silo. It should be a really good amount. Let's see how we're doing. 19%. They should be able to make it. Turn around, and then either if they don't start, I don't know why they're right there. If they don't start unloading them on the go, we will swap to the other tractor and do that for them. And they should be finishing dropping off the goods and pulling forward. Do that loop again, get back over here. It's a process. We're helping out though, not just having it all automated. We are helping. And if we look at this, we've still got an hour and 52 minutes to go in this harvest if this doesn't stop. And there they go, looping around. And once they get in place, we can unload and hand this back over to auto drive and swap to the other grain cart. Seems to work out pretty good. And unloading again. Perfect timing. And just like that, it gets them in place for us to quick swap. Fun process, man. I love just chilling here, playing the game, giving you guys little updates, but it gives me a lot of time to just enjoy the game a little bit more, like I have been missing a little bit. And just about a full load here on an up and down, which is pretty marvelous. Nice. So we can also just come over here, turn this on, and they will move on for us. Well, forgive the background noise, but the construction crew is here this morning doing some dirt compacting outside. We have a problem here. We have some rain, but luckily we can get to September and finish the harvest. So I think what we're gonna do is sleep. But let's do an update. You can see how much we have left. Actually, this is a pretty good view here. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple good views, but yeah, this is a good one to show what's left here. Lots of rain damage over the night. Lots of rain damage leading to the harvest, so little areas that we didn't get yield from, and looks like here's where we had some crop destruction. I'm not sure what happened up there, but yeah, that's what's left, so not bad, not bad. We did refill the chicken coop, and we have 260,000 liters already. They just got unloaded. They're gonna head back over to the semi with another 20,000 in the semi, and 20,000 in this grain cart, and 20,000 in this grain cart. We got a lot. We got a lot of sorghum going. Already $400,000 in the silo. We're gonna have to figure out what we can keep though. We're gonna have to do some calculations and see how they're burning through food. And I have a feeling if I look in the morning, I'll have a decent idea there. So we do need a little bit of cash to pay for this loan. We have $7,000, so we're gonna have to draw out some more funds. I'm just gonna do 48,000. And we're gonna go ahead and sleep. Once these grain carts get all updated and prepped and back into spot. Because I think the storm actually goes Yeah, it goes basically through the rest of the night. So we've got to wait till the morning and hope we can get it done. So luckily we have the 2 months to harvest the sorghum and we should be able to get by. All right, September morning here. Everything's paid. Let's go ahead and check on the chicken's feed here. So about 10,000 overnight. I am going to write this amount down right now. And when we get to October, I want to see how low it gets. But we do we get more chickens? We have 15,000 eggs. Can we just, why can't we just visit from here? 2,600 animals now. As they age up, this is really going to start escalating. I have a feeling we can get through another year before feed's an issue, but I'm not sure we're going to sell all the sorghum. We'll probably get to where it's December, top this up, give it its full 200,000 liters of food, and then sell the remaining. But we're going to have to find, we're dangerously close to needing to find some storage for the eggs. The time-saving stock check showing $63,000 worth of eggs now. That would be in November, so not looking bad. When we hide things we can't sell, that little bit of wheat we probably will move to, yeah, we'll move that to the chicken coop. Over 500,000 right now in revenue potential, so looking good, looking good. Back at it on the harvest here. Showing 44 minutes remaining, looking good. Did we have weeds, or is that's gotta be from overnight? That's gotta be from overnight. Let's see over here where they just harvested. There are little weeds, unless that's the dirt. Nothing in here. Okay, that must just been from overnight. All right, we're back at it. I'm running to the grain carts here. We got one behind us doing the same thing we were doing earlier, trying to get this finished. Was debating planting barley right now and not even doing lime. But I think we are gonna wait till spring and do sorghum again. We're gonna see if we can afford another field when all is said and done. But that'll probably be next video. We've got just a pass and a half to go here. You can see the little strip we'll have to do. Looking good. We look at time-saving stock check. We're up to $650,000 worth of sorghum. So I think switching to sorghum and treating the field was definitely a good call. Though we're losing the income on straw, which, yeah, I'd like to see your guys' feedback on that. I think it was probably the right thing to do to move away from doing straw, since chickens don't really need straw. We could update the mod or the save file to let animals include manure and make a little bit more income off of that and save money on fertilizer. So I'll be looking for feedback on that. Should we do that? Should we modify it? Should we stay base game? Let me know. Either way, a little intimidated by this challenge right now because our net worth continues to decline. The loans, 450. We'll see where that's at the end of the year. We do have a decent amount of money that we could draw, but I want to see that start to decrease because right now with the payments this high, we're looking at like I think it was $58,000 a year. And that's a lot. That's a lot to have to make just to keep us afloat. So things to think about. We definitely need another field, and we need the chickens to produce a lot more eggs to allow us to afford the next field and keep knocking that debt out. I mean, if you look at it right now, net worth could be around 3 billion, 3.4 million if the debt was gone. So it's tracking the right direction. Thankfully, we have 8 more years after this to get there. And dropping off the last bit of grain, it looks like our grain cart was in the way of the cart, or of the semi-operator, so they have a little bit of grain that will get put in here as well. We'll get that one going, and then we'll switch over here. Should be able to just shimmy backwards. And drop it off as well. Just like so. Seems like a much better way to store these guys. Just drive them straight in, and then we can drive the combine in here when we need to. But now looking at the total, we do have 486,000 sorghum. That's going to bring us $750,000. Looking good. We'll get some more eggs as well. We have 15,000 here and some more behind us. So as that goes up, our money will go up as well. So we will now see you when it's time to sell the eggs. And boy, we burned through about, well, Let's see, 176. Let me do some math here. About 13,000. That's not terrible. I mean, and overnight we got 3 pallets, so now we're cooking over here. That's pretty awesome. That jumped that up to 76,000. So we're looking at roughly about $800,000 we're gonna make. A little over 800,000. Not bad for the second year. We gotta get that higher though. So now we're just waiting for eggs to peak. It says November. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't October, so we'll be skipping time and taking out a little more money from our line of credit to pay our bills if we need to. Hoping this peaks today though, so we don't have to take out any more of that line of credit, though we'll pay it off next month. Just a little more interest. We are above peak price and it's dark, so let's go ahead and get these sold. Where are we going? Right across the street again. All right, so I am gonna, well, we'll just make the payment. We withdrew money just in case, and it turns out we were wrong for withdrawing money, but we're gonna pay interest on it either way, so just a little mistake we made, and I don't know the route this direction, so we'll get there. See you in a second. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and unstrap them, pull through, and seeing the environmental score bonus of $10,000 absolutely helps. That ended up bringing in over $95,000, or just about 94,000 there. Pretty nice. So egg prices went way above that. Okay, so we're gonna have to keep that in mind. We lost about $100 per thousand there, and we're gonna sell what we have, and then we're going to get to December and see when the sorghum prices get good before we end today's episode and see how we're looking net worth wise and get a nice wrap up there. And it was another 10,000, so that's very helpful. Every dollar counts. Well, it's gonna be a long, dark night here selling the sorghum, so I'm gonna do it all off camera, but we're getting started. $55,000 left, and basically a couple hours left in year 2. We're gonna find the right route to this far sales location, and I think it's gonna be about 10 trips, so it's gonna take me a while. Probably shut the camera off and rejoin you guys later, because it's gonna take, well, especially with my driving skills, quite a ways. I don't know how to say words. We're stuck on a mailbox. What I'm trying to say, it's gonna take me a while because I can't see anything. I'll see you guys in a bit. Well, I just did an entire intro without the recording going. We have $788,000 in the account. We have a lot of things to figure out. Let's take a look. Line of credit is still at $4.5 million, and our net worth is at negative $445,000, and we have 4,000 chickens now. So we're 40% of the way there with chickens. We talked about needing about $650-ish thousand to make our payments for 12 months. So we have about $130,000 to play with next year. We still need a spreader. I'm debating skipping a year of doing lime and just getting sorghum down, rinse and repeat, get through year 3 and hope to have about 200-some thousand extra. Let's see what happens, get a little bit more eggs going. Actually, probably get a good amount more eggs next year, but let me know. Give me your feedback. Thanks for hanging out. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Socks way up. I'll catch you on the next episode.